All right, go ahead. I've noticed the little rubber tubes here for our Relax awning are starting to wear out, and the awning's been having some issues in how it opens. So I ordered a couple of the new replacement parts from Woodland Airstream, and this is what Airstream is using now. And that are these heavy-duty springs that take the place of this short piece of round hose that they were using. So this provides a little bit more pressure. And of course, with the Relax awning, what happens is when you start it, it's vertical. So the springs or the hose provide the initial push to start opening up that arm. So let's work on getting this old one off and this put on. So very simply, there's just one screw in here that holds this on. And it's my suggestion you use a hand screwdriver, not a power screwdriver, to do this, because it's just a couple of turns and that thing is right off of there. And you can probably see that some cracks are starting to develop. I noticed in the other one, I've already done the other one, and it's got some pretty good cracks in it right there. So let's get this cleaned off and the new one mounted. Now, one thing about these screw holes that penetrate, you need to put some kind of sealant in there to make sure, and especially, and I'll show you why, especially the way the new springs mount. But I'm using what I have, which is this amazing goop. Silicone would work, or probably even some Sikaflex would work. But basically anything to go into that screw hole to help seal it from any water infiltration. On these springs, there's a smaller hole and a larger hole. The larger hole is there for the screwdriver to go through, and the smaller hole, of course, for the screw to go through. And it's stainless steel screw and a stainless steel washer. And the washer goes in this way, so it's right up against the head of the screw, so that the screw can turn and it won't turn the rubber part on here. This just screws right into here. And the only thing that I really don't like about these new mounts is the way the original screws are, the rivets and the screw to hold this whole bracket in there, in that this doesn't set nice and flat. So that's why it's critical to put some kind of sealant in there. In fact, I might end up running some sealant around this edge too at some point. I'll keep my eye on it. But that's it. Let's look real quick at how our new springs toss the awning out compared to those old rubber hose things that we had on the Airstream before. Go ahead. Look at that, it worked absolutely perfectly. None of that herky-jerkiness, none of that throwing that we initially had with the old system. Give a quick update on these springs that I got to replace those half hoses for our Relax awning. I was really bothered how this back rubber pad didn't fit flush. It pushed up against this screw. So I took them back off and then carved out, I don't think you can really see it, but I carved them out, and luckily it was pressed so hard there was an imprint of this screw head on there. but I carved them out with a utility knife and then screwed them back in. So now they mount flush. They don't mount at that angle anymore. So they mount flush. And then, because there was a big gap here and here, and with water coming down, I was really concerned about water infiltration through this. So I filled the hole that the mounting screw right there goes in. I filled that hole with a goop adhesive and sealant, and then also this upper part of the gasket here, I guess that's what that is, that rubber gasket, and put it in. Of course, then it oozed out, and I smoothed it off a bit. So now we've got some water sealant right there, open on the bottom in case any water gets in there. It has a place to go. But much happier with this now. I wonder if on newer Airstreams, if maybe this screw is up a little higher where you don't have the same kind of interference, or maybe it's mounted just a skosh lower than the original. But anyway, I'm really happy with those springs instead of those little half or those short rubber hoses that were there. These really work great. And again, I ordered from Woodland Airstream, paid full price. Just one tip from one Airstreamer to another. If you've got the old school ones, these are well worth the price.